Hey, I'm Steve Kight. I'm a sophomore here at Liberty University Online studying religion. Also, I happen to live in Smyrna, Georgia. May sound familiar to some of you guys out there if you're a big gun collector. It is home of where the Glock factory is, which is where I used to work. Now I'm currently an associate pastor with Paulding County Cowboy Church. Didn't even really realize that there was a cowboy type church till I got involved in it, and then realized that there's actually a whole association with it. I'm married to my wife Heather, who's also a student here at Liberty University Online. She, between her and I, we both have a total of 5 kids, 3 grandbabies, ranging from the ages 3, 2, and just a little over a month. Right now, I guess the big thing that happened to me other than my conversion was my call into ministry. It happened about a time when my wife and I, we had gotten married, and there was this lady that my wife works with. She had a daughter named Jessica Lee. Got the shirt. And Jessica ended up having a form of cancer and leukemia, and she was 9 years old when she finally passed away. And like I said, it was at the beginning of when I had been called into the ministry, and at the time I was struggling with a lot of the things that, would I be able to do it? Why me? And so I remember we went to the funeral that day, and I literally watched these 2 pastors tag team this eulogy, and both of them were just falling to pieces during this whole thing. I mean, this was a girl that had grown up in church with them and gone to the school there at the church, and then she, died. And so I remember when me and Heather left, and we were leaving the church after the funeral, and I told her, I said, I don't think I can do this. This is something that, what if I have to do something like this in the future? And she's like, well, God will give you the strength. And that, it didn't really set well with me. It was one of those things that, I thought about, and I agree with it, but okay, how do you cope with that? And so I worked with a guy when I was at Glock, and by the time I was leaving Glock, his wife was pregnant, and so I left, started my home-based business, and then was concentrating on my school career and everything. Well, one night I get a phone call from him. His name was Matt, and he calls me and he says, hey Steve, are you still doing the ministry thing? And I was like, well, yeah Matt, I'm still doing the ministry thing. And he says, well, are you free Saturday? And I said, well, sure Matt, I can be. What's going on? And so he broke down in tears, and he said, well, my daughter just died. And I was like, wow, what happened? And so he began to tell me what had happened. She was 5 days old, and they had put her down to go to sleep, and come time for her to be fed, they didn't know why she hadn't woke up. So they went to check on her, and she had passed away. Well, he asked me if I would do the funeral. And without even thinking, I agreed to it. And then afterwards, I remember thinking, what have I done? And it was one of those things where the next day I met with Matt and the family, and we went out and we sat and talked and had lunch, what they were wanting to do for the funeral and everything. And that Saturday rolled around and did the funeral, and it went off without a hitch. Everything was fine, and it was a really big moment in my ministry career, because right off the bat, the one thing that I was worried about was what God tested me with and actually gave me the strength to get through. So with that, I think that was probably the big changing moment, the big I guess, moment where I did see firsthand that through God, in my weakness, He gave me strength. So that was the big point for me. With the rest of this, like I said, I'm a sophomore. I'm at the point now where I've been doing this for a while, and I'm just hoping that I can get through it. It's, you know, where you're so far from when you started, but yet you still feel like you've got a long way to go. I hope the rest of this class goes good for the rest of you. Hope it does for me. Hope we learn a lot. So God bless.